Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2019 or Pokemon Journeys the Series anime video. In this video I want to talk about episode 113 of Pokemon Journeys, which will be airing soon. This episode was revealed less than a week ago alongside its title and a summary. I did make a video on it the same day that it was revealed. However, 4 days later, a special preview for the episode was released after episode 110, which is why I decided to revisit episode 113 in this video. I was honestly not expecting them to release a special preview for this episode. Though after watching episode 110, I do understand why they did this. Episode 110 sets up episode 113. Now this special preview makes my previous video on this episode less valuable, but what can you do? If I hesitated to cover episodes because extra information might suddenly be released for them, then I won't be able to stay up to date with all the latest news. So I will just cover episodes the moment that there is enough information to talk about. And if more information is available, then I will just cover the episodes again. But yeah, I will still leave a link to the previous video I made on episode 113 in the description below and at the end of this video, so that you can go watch that video if you haven't already. While now that video might not have much to offer, especially when compared to this one, you can still go watch it if you wish. It does also cover episode 111, so it does have some additional value. Though I also had to revisit episode 111 in a separate video, which I will link as well. So let's get to the special preview now, shall we? In episode 113, Go will take on the last mission for Project Mew, which is to catch Regieleki and Regidrago, the two new legendary titans that were introduced in the Crown Tundra expansion for Pokemon Sword and Shield. So Go will travel alone to the Split Decision Ruins, where he will find Gary, who has the same mission. Now the special preview confirms that yes, Go will travel alone. Ash is not seen in the preview, or rather, Ash does not appear in the parts of the preview that show episode 113. The special preview also fittingly serves as a compilation of all the missions Go has done so far, and Ash does appear in these parts of the preview. I of course won't cover these parts of the preview for obvious reasons. Since Ash is not shown in the parts of the preview that show episode 113, he might not appear in this episode at all, or he will only appear briefly in it. The preview does shed some light on a couple of the questions I had about this episode in my last video on it. In the games, you can only access the Split Decision Ruins when you have Regice, Registeel, and Regirock in the party. So I figured that this would be ignored in the anime because no one in the anime other than Brandon owns the original 3 Regis. The preview shows that the doors of the ruins just open when Tsurugi, Gary, and Go stand in front of them. But it seems like maybe Tsurugi opens the doors somehow. In any case, there is no sign of the original Regis, though in the games they only have to be in the party. Maybe Tsurugi has the 3 Regis in his party. This is something that I touched upon briefly in my previous video on this episode, but I will elaborate more on it here. The Regis have been very relevant to Project Mew. Regice and Regirock have both appeared in episodes where Go completes a mission for Project Mew, and Tsurugi battled both Regice and Regirock. Since Tsurugi already has a legendary Pokemon, I could see him owning the 3 Regis. Maybe when he and Asahi battled Regirock off-screen, Tsurugi caught it. Maybe he went back for Regice off-screen after episode 71. He did say to Regice in episode 71, "I will come back for you later, so behave for now." And maybe he found, battled, and caught Registeel completely off-screen. Because he has all 3 Regis, he can open the door of the Split Decision Ruins. I could see this being the case, and it would be very cool. Now in my previous video on this episode I said that in the games you can only battle one of the new Regis. You choose to battle either Regieleki or Regidrago. So I figured that likewise, Gary and Go would each choose one of the 2 Regis. They would then battle and try to catch their chosen Regi. But the preview shows Gary and Go entering the ruins together. They are seen battling together as well, though they are also shown separated and surrounded by ice. Regieleki and Regidrago also seem to be separated. So I guess that Gary and Go will work together first, until they need to choose which Regi they wanted to face, at which point they will separate and work on their own. As for which Reggie they will pick, the preview does reveal this. When they are standing in front of the doors to the ruins, Go is standing on the yellow half, while Gary is standing on the red half. The preview also shows Gary and Go stepping on the panels found in the ruins, which are used in the games to select the Reggie you wish to battle. Gary is in a red room, while Go is in a yellow room. So, Go will choose Regieleki and Gary will choose Regidrago. Now the preview shows that Lila and Shunya, who appeared for the first time in episode 110, will also appear in episode 113. In the preview, Lila and Shunya use their Sandaconda and Runrigus to battle Gary and Go, though only Cinderace is seen being attacked. Gary's Pokemon is not seen. My guess is that the first part of the mission is to enter the ruins with someone else, meaning that you need to form a team of 2, which makes sense since there are 2 Reggies. You then need to face another duo of challengers in battle, in order to decide who will get the right to face the Reggies. This explains why Gary and Go enter the ruins together at first, but then they seem to split up. Since Go did not want to work with Gary in episode 102, I bet that they will face some hardships in episode 113. Though given that this will be the final mission, I bet that they will finally learn to work together. Or rather, Go will finally decide to cooperate with Gary. Now Lila and Shunya used underhanded tricks in episode 110, so one might think that they will appear in episode 113 just to sabotage the other challengers. But since you can only enter the ruins if Tsurugi allows you to, then surely Lila and Shunya are inside the ruins because they are taking part in the mission as well. So they are not in the ruins just to be an obstacle. They are actively trying to complete the mission. When I watched episode 110, I did think that I would like to see Lila and Shunya again, since they did not appear to be just one-off characters. They are unique enough to be more than just characters of the day. So I am glad that they will indeed appear again in the future. But yeah, that is pretty much it for the preview, because while it is a minute long, most of it is a compilation of the previous missions Go has completed thus far. So there really isn't that much footage of episode 113, even though the preview is about episode 113. Before I end the video, however, I do want to talk about what I think will happen in this episode with regards to Gary and Go completing the mission. In my previous video on this episode, I said that I could see both Gary and Go catching a Reggie each, meaning that they both catch a legendary Pokemon, since this means that they both get to join Project Mew. But I also said that I could see only one of them completing the mission, and that if this is the case, then Go is the one most likely to complete the mission, because he is a protagonist unlike Gary and because Go has to defeat his rival at least once. After watching episode 110, I think that the second option is more likely. In episode 110, it was revealed that the top 3 challengers become chasers, and that Gary currently has the most Mew tokens, which puts him in rank 1, while Go is tied for rank 4, so he currently cannot be a chaser. Since only 3 challengers can become chasers, I think that it is likely that Gary, Horace, and Go will all become chasers. So regardless of who ends up in first, second, or third, the 3 of them can still join the project. Also in episode 110, Go expressed a desire to defeat Gary, and, like I said earlier, he has to defeat Gary at least once. So perhaps the last mission will be worth a lot of tokens, or rather it should, since the mission is to catch a legendary Pokemon, and it is the last mission. Go could complete the mission while Gary does not. This would give Go enough tokens to make it into the top 3, meaning that he can become a chaser and he might even have enough tokens to make it into first, dropping Gary to rank 2, meaning that Go defeats Gary on 2 fronts, but Gary can still become a chaser as well. Or better yet, the final mission could be worth, say, 5 tokens, which is a nice number considering that missions thus far have awarded between 1 and 4 tokens. So 5 tokens for the final mission seems reasonable and fitting. Go currently has 7 tokens, so if he gets 5 then he will have 12, which is what Gary currently has. So if Go completes the final mission while Gary does not complete it, then Go can still become a chaser by getting to the top 3. He can also defeat Gary once by completing a mission that Gary does not complete. But they both end up with the same number of tokens, which allows them to tie for rank 1, meaning that they end up as equals. And Go does not defeat Gary on two fronts, meaning that Gary does not end up looking really bad because he was defeated twice by Go. Also, since they sometimes award extra tokens for doing great things during the mission, or for ending up in second place, etc., maybe Go completes the mission and he gets to be a chaser, while Gary fails the mission but he still gets to be a chaser and he still gets some tokens for his effort, so he still ends up with more tokens than Go. Thus, he ends up ranked higher than Go, allowing him to still brag to Go about something. I think that this final outcome that I discussed is the best one and the one that I think is most likely. Of course, this means that Go will catch another legendary Pokemon, which is crazy, yes, but not unbelievable, considering Go's track record thus far. And since he will be catching it for Project Mew, who knows if he will get to keep it in the end. Now, in my previous video on this episode, I did say that I wonder what will happen with Horace, since he is not taking part in the last mission. But episode 110 shows that sometimes, Asahi and Tsurugi hold the same mission but in different locations, with different challengers. So maybe in episode 113, while Tsurugi oversees the Catch Regieleki and Regidrago mission, Asahi is somewhere else overseeing a mission to catch another pair of legendary Pokemon, and Horace will take on this mission. Also, as shown in episode 113, Horace is tied for rank 3, so he is close to being a chaser anyways. He might not even need to complete the final mission. But that's everything I have for you in this video. Episode 113 will definitely be an interesting and cool episode, and I am eager to watch it. Episode 113 will air on June 3. As usual, once the episode airs, I will upload a video review for it as soon as possible, so please look forward to it. I will not, however, make a video on the actual preview for the episode since I have already talked about this episode enough. Unless the preview reveals something new that is significant, which I doubt will be the case, but if it happens, then yeah, I will make a preview discussion on it because I just cannot help myself. But yeah, that's the video as always. Leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching and let's meet again in the next video.